see what's happening with all the AI shit this week?
Like it's crashing.
Everyone's jumping ship, and they're realizing they're all just propping each other up.
And cities and states are getting tired of that bullshit. Like all the water that they're using.
Such a dude.
It's polluting like small towns all over America.
Dude, it's like we're literally like signing our own death warrant. It's going to be like the end of civilization, and the government's just like, oh yeah, go do whatever you want.
The
like,
one OpenAI using more power than New York and San Diego combined.
That, not all the entry level,
That's
low level
insane.
jobs, all the low level jobs it's going to wipe out.
Yeah.
Like unemployment it's going to cause. Like what the fuck are we going to do for those people?
People are like, it won't do the trades. Yes, it will.
Dude, eventually.
I mean, even now, like they have those machines that are building, like they have concrete that they'll go and they'll make a full ass frame of a house in like 2 days by just a robot that goes around.
Like the 3D printing thing almost?
Yeah,
I saw
3D
that.
construction printers.
I saw a article, I think it was in the Atlantic. I read it on one of my flights, and it was a guy who went over to China to a Samsung factory for whatever the Samsung phone is, and he said it was a massive fucking factory, and he was like, it used to be like a sweatshop, and now it's been completely automated and robot. He said he walked in for a tour. There was one guy there in the pitch dark, like in an office with a lamp on. They turned on the lights, and it was just all fucking robots, like assembly line robots putting together all these phones. Like one human in an entire fucking factory doing all this shit.
Okay. Well, I knew the conversation was probably going to go down this road at some point, but we can't start it off talking about how AI is going to ruin society because this is going
I didn't know we were recording. I'm sorry.
I think we are rolling. But
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Fasten those seatbelts and strap in. We'll get you to those margaritas ASAP.
Hola, bonjour. Ciao, bella, mesdames et messieurs. Salam and salam.
hey, how are you? Welcome back to Drop a Pin. Today we have none other than Dante the Don, one of the most Italian members of Barstool Sports, I'd like to think.
That's a good compliment.
Who else would be more?
Well, I have this incredible content idea, and it's called So You Think You're Italian. It's a show. We get like Nikki Smokes, maybe Tom Sabelli, Dante. They all have to take a 23andMe, and then we see who has the most Italian DNA.
Dude, I would love to do that, except I will never do 23andMe and give my DNA. That's like...
Because then, that company just owns your DNA.
See, I don't think that one's a conspiracy theory. That one is legit. If you sign up for
your
23andMe, you're an idiot.
Bet your ass, dude.
Idiot.
100%. They sold it all. Did you see they went BK and sold all
DNA
everyone's info?
And not only that, but law enforcement can they can get your information from it. Get the fuck up out of here.
That's like you're just asking to be. That's like New World Order 101 right there.
Damn.
I love that idea though. We should. I could
get a bunch of other Italians to.
I think we should go to Italy and see who fares the best. That's what I think.
Oh, okay, yeah. Who can that would be also cool. That would probably be more fun.
And you know what scares me?
More fun for the viewers.
What scares me is
watching a blood draw.
Yeah. It's not even a blood draw, it's just like a sample of your spit.
Yeah. What scares me is I don't even think I would win. I think Jenks would win. After watching your episode with him, I was like, oh my God, this guy's
he
as authentic as it gets.
A lot of time in Italy. Is he actually Italian himself?
I don't know, but he lived there. He's basically a citizen.
Yeah. Now, can you speak Italian?
See?
Well, that didn't prove shit.
Mezza.
Okay.
So
I know how to say C too.
So here's the thing.
I thought that was Spanish.
So here's the thing. Italy is a new country. Relatively, it was a kingdom until the early 1900s. So each province is they're proud, obviously, but they also have their own dialect, and not that they're very different from each other, but they'll mess you up a little bit.
Yeah, because it was the Roman Empire, and then it got invaded, and it split up into all these separate kingdoms for hundreds and hundreds of years. And then they only unified, They unified like right before World War I or like, maybe like the very late 1800s, early 1900s.
Yep.
Yeah. There were the Papal States. That's where kind of like the whole middle part of Italy was just run by the Pope.
Right.
Yeah.
So like clean Italian, like you'll hear up north where like the educated people are, like Toscana and, even over by Milan and Venice, major provinces up there. You go down south and like Napolitana is very, very different.
Yeah.
There'll be like bees replaced with peas. Sicily's even more so, which I know you want to get into.
I mean, is that where you're from? Is that where your family's from?
Calabria, which is
Calabria.
which
All right.
is the toe of the boot.
Yep. Calabrian chilies, dude. Love that shit. Induja might be one of my favorite meats.
Fantastic. You know who has the best around here?
Tempesta Market.
I was gonna say my man.
Yeah.
No,
They make Induja.
they make their own.
Induja arancinis, which arancinis are like the food of Sicily.
Yeah, I love arancinis.
I used to think arancinis were kind of mid, but
How do you know? You're like stealing all the facts. I was gonna spit on this,
I spent 1 week in Sicily when I lived in Italy for a year in Venice.
dude. How good did you the arancinis that are like cones?
Dude,
They're like triangles. Aren't they unreal?
I'd only tried them in Boston, and they were all like the same filling. And I don't know, they weren't bad, but they weren't something I would seek out. And then when I went to Sicily and tried the arancini, like they blew my mind.
They're unreal.
And there's like hundreds of different types. You can
They're
do like
unreal.
a
What was your
carbonara
favorite?
arancini. There's like eggplant arancinis or swordfish arancini, like any type of filling you want. And when I went there, I was thinking I was going to turn it into like a TikTok or something. I never did, but I have like 50 clips of me just eating arancini. I tried to like document every arancini I ate. 9.2. This one is easily 8.1 out of 10. But I was blown away by the arancini.
They're so good, and they're
Yeah.
everywhere. They're like street food. On like the ferry over there, they sell them, and the ferry has fire arancini. It's crazy.
Yeah, so Sicily's known for their arancini and their cannolis. Now, cannolis are overrated for sure.
Agreed.
Boom. Agreed?
Big time. I think most Italian desserts are.
I'm also not a fan of tiramisu.
Huge fan.
I do like tiramisu.
Okay. I guess I just don't like coffee-flavored desserts, really.
That's fair.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Blood oranges,
Blood oranges.
Can't beat them.
Yep.
Best
best
juice,
citrus, I think.
best mixer, everything.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna dunk on you right here. Affogato is. Oh, you just said you don't like coffee in your dessert.
Yeah,
so
that's the ice cream
right
and the
up.
coffee.
Oh,
I make that every day here.
dude, how good!
I go,
Oh, you get a coffee and then you go to
yeah,
the soft
so I
serve
start it
machine?
with a little bit of chocolate and then fill it up with the Coronado coffee and then 2 shots of espresso on top. That's what I do every single day.
The best. The best.
Every time
stuff.
I've had somebody try it, they've basically nutted. Like every time they're like, even I forget who it was. Maybe it was Max. He's like, I'm not a coffee guy. It's like, try this, and he was like, holy shit, this is amazing.
It's the best dessert. Are you talking about the shots of espresso from the Stella Blue cans?
No, from the ones that's downstairs, the super nice coffee maker that's in the little kitchen downstairs.
I have not seen that or used that.
It's
yeah,
really nice.
We got a new coffee machine.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
really nice. It got all kinds of shit. It'll make basically whatever you want. There's
That's great
milk in
news.
it to make like lattes. It'll make macchiatos. It'll make all kinds of stuff.
Great news.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna have to have one after the show.
All right.
Now, were you aware, being from southern Italy, that northern Italians really look down on the south?
Oh, it's the most racist like
Yeah.
shit ever. It's crazy.
Yeah, so if you're from like Venice or Milan, you kind of see people from Calabria and Sicily as just like dirty peasants.
They are no, not just that. They
or like-
view us as like a drain on society. Like,
Yeah,
they're
they kind of see you guys as more African than Italian.
yes, and lazy, mafioso, like literally dragging the economy down. It's true and it's sad at the same time because all the commerce and industry is up north. That's where all the jobs are. There really isn't much down south outside of like small retail and hospitality.
Do they look at it like Italy's West Virginia?
Yeah, almost even like how people from the Northeast look at the rest of the country, like when they're really not that much better, but they think, like, oh, we're educated. Everyone else is stupid.
Northeast coastal elites.
Yeah. But I will say Italians Europeans compared to Americans are lazy, but Southern Italians are like super lazy. Like they coast, dude.
I mean, Italians in general, this is like sweet, but I don't think we can pull it off in America. They all take the month of August off pretty much.
Ferragosto.
Which is just awesome.
I fucking love it.
Yeah. They just
the
Portnoy program.
Yeah.
Ferragosto is a huge thing, and that's when it's booming down south because everyone from the north either hits Sardinia or one of the islands. But right now, like Calabria down by like Tropea and those beaches are some of the best I've ever been to in the world, and they're like booming tourism wise.
Yeah, it's
I go back every September, and it's usually like still the tail end of that, and it's like bigger and bigger.
Yeah, that's the perfect time to go, I'd say. Because if you go to Sicily in July, like it is hot.
You can't breathe.
Because you get the African trade winds.
Exactly.
Dude, and nobody has AC.
No.
Very few people have fans. It's nuts. And they're like, what are you complaining about? It's fine. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it.
When were you there?
I went in April, so it was right as like the seasons were starting to change. It was beautiful. Like I think Sicily is my favorite place I've been to.
Really?
In Italy. Yeah. So like it was just starting to warm up. I went for a swim in the ocean. I was the only one in the ocean because all the Italians were like, it's way too cold for us. And like I got out and this Italian guy was like, what are you doing? Like, are you okay? It's dangerous to go in that water. It's so cold. I was like, this is like normal Boston water in late July.
What was it?
What?
Well, it couldn't have, like, temp-wise.
Temp-wise, it was probably comparable to, like, Boston on July 4th.
That's not bad.
Yeah, but they were just like, dude.
Really? That's hilarious.
They're not used to that at all.
Was the Tyrrhenian, right?
What?
The Tyrrhenian Sea?
I guess. So I was swimming in Cefalu, I think.
Okay.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Cefalu.
Cefalu, yeah. A beautiful castle right next to this like plateau thing.
It's beautiful over there.
Yeah, we hiked up that. It was just, that was like some of the highlights of my entire year there. But a lot of people always say, they're like, so many Sicilians moved to America. And they're like, dude, and they'll post a beautiful photo of Sicily, and they'll be like, you traded this to move to like Newark, New Jersey. What the fuck's wrong with you? But people don't realize that there was a time in Sicily when there was just like no jobs, no work, like probably not even, I don't know. Like, I don't know if there was enough food. Like there was a time when Sicily was rough. And so that's why so many people moved to America, right?
Dude, it still isn't like great.
Okay. It's scenic. It's super beautiful. Like just
very beautiful.
Not a lot of work for people.
And it's cool. Each major city has its own distinct like character to it. Like Syracuse, did you go there?
I never made it to Syracuse.
Very Greek. Like it feels like you're almost like in Athens. Like the architecture is Greek.
Yeah, because it was a Greek colony even before the Roman Empire,
right?
Like way back in the day,
right? We're talking like thousands of years ago, like the beginning of like civilization. And then you go to like Palermo, and you feel like you're in the Middle East. It's like very Arabic, and
it's got a crazy mix of like Norman architecture, Arab architecture.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Like Spanish architecture. That's why I thought it was so cool.
There's this. I wish I dug through my photos this morning. I could not find it. There was this museum in Palermo that I went to, and it was the only other place I've been in the world that had something like this was it was in Spain. It begins with a V, Valencia.
Okay.
Valencia, Spain, which was similar in how conquered it was. I guess it just got like taken
it
over and then
controlled by the
reclaimed
Muslims
and
for a
taken
while.
over. So Sicily's like the most conquered place on the planet
Yeah, it's changed hands.
because of where it is.
So many times.
And there's this museum that has a cutaway. Like you go downstairs, I think it's like 2 stories, and there's a cutaway of glass, and it shows the layers literally of like ruins. Like the city came in, got toppled by the Moors. They knocked everything down and just built on top of it.
Yeah.
And then like the Romans came back, reclaimed it, knocked all the Moor shit down, and you can see the different layers of like architecture, dirt, and all that shit. But it's like it's wild, and they have like the years and the empires and the rulers and all that. It's like really, really cool. But it blows you away because you're just like, oh my God, this place has been here for centuries.
Yeah. And with Sicily, it was like, it was controlled by like the Greeks, the Carthaginians, the Romans, and after the Romans, probably some roving tribes, the Byzantines. Then the Arabs took it over for a while, and then it was conquered by Vikings essentially.
No way, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so
Shout out Bluetooth.
yeah, shout out Harold Bluetooth. The Normans, that comes from the word Norseman, Northmen. So they kind of conquered an area of France. They came down from Norway, conquered an area of France, and then they just like every raiding season they would go explore somewhere new. And then they got into the Mediterranean, found Sicily. They're like, dude, this is way nicer than fucking Norway. Let's just stay here. And then they conquered Sicily. They conquered Calabria.
Dude, raiding season is one of the best terms I've ever heard.
Oh, yeah, that
that's-
was big. Like they would leave right after like March,
Yeah.
and they would be gone basically until they knew that the water was going to be frozen over.
Seriously?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then imagine going from Norway, being a Nordic, like in far north, and coming down to Sicily and dealing with those trade winds. Like how hot, because you wouldn't be acclimated to anything.
Yeah, but I think they liked it. They were like, I can get used to just wearing,
Dude, I
wearing
don't
a
know.
t-shirt and
They
shorts.
must have felt
Probably
like
had
they were
their
on the
dicks out.
sun.
Yeah.
That's like 100-degree swing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Legit.
And
They
I
probably
think-
just hung out in the water all the time.
Going hippo mode. I think all the women would stay home and farm, and just all the men would just
Yes.
go and raid. And
Yeah.
normally they would come back and like bring all the spoils and the loot, but then eventually they were like, we don't really have to go back. Let's just stay here in Sicily. And then they had like big Norman kingdoms where they conquered all of southern Italy, all of Sicily. They tried to conquer Constantinople. They were going all over the place.
What was the I'm dumb compared to you, history especially. What was the Carthage or the Carthaginians, whatever you said?
They were Rome's biggest rival when like Rome was first starting to gain some power. And
But
they-
is that Greece?
No, it was northern Africa.
Okay.
So they were originally from Lebanon. They were the Phoenicians, and then they, when like Phoenicia got conquered by the Persians, I think, or something, they left and they settled Carthage, which is where Tunis and Tunisia is now.
Got it.
And then from there, they kind of had trading posts all over the place. They had spots in Sicily and Spain, like all the North African coast, and they were just kind of traders. They would just trade all around the Mediterranean, and then they started butting heads with Rome. And after like a 15-year war, 20-year war, where Hannibal, he was the one who they like from Spain, he crossed the Alps with a bunch of elephants and just literally won every battle in the Italian peninsula, but Rome just had more people. So he would just win, but they kept on fielding new armies. And eventually he was like, all right, I'm over this, and left. And then Rome won the war and conquered Carthage.
They
If you're in
started
Italy
lasting.
at that point when there's no Twitter and you don't see elephants, the moment one of them comes across the mountains, I'm surrendering. Like that is like that time period's Hiroshima and Nagasaki is
Yes.
elephants.
And that's what
I'd be
happened.
like, get me out of here, dude.
Right?
No, thank you. What
Can
the
you even
fuck
imagine?
is that?
No, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. Like the first 5 years, they would just see the elephants and run. But then they realized all they had to do was just scare the elephants.
Or bring out mice.
And then the elephants would turn and charge like their like own army. So then they're like, oh, these elephants actually like, there's a pretty solid workaround. You just got to like scare them with, I don't know if they had, I don't know how you scare an elephant, but they probably get, I mean, horses were terrified of elephants. Absolutely terrified. But they found a way to scare the elephants, and they would just turn around and then just trample all their own troops.
I mean, you have elephants with huge tusks coming out, and
Yeah.
you've never seen it before?
Yeah.
You got to give up.
Yeah, I think like the horses would just run immediately. Horses were like, I'm not charging that thing.
Yeah, and typically if you had horses, you were fucking people up too.
Yep. But horse versus elephant, I think you got to take elephant.
What animal do you think you would go with if it wasn't elephant? Rhino?
Rhino, but I don't
You can't ride a rhino.
know if in history anybody has used battle rhinos.
Military working rhinos?
Dude, they did that in
sick.
Gladiator 2, and that's when I was like, all right.
What,
this is-
rhinos?
Yeah, remember?
I never saw it.
They had the guy riding a rhino with like chains on it. I was like, all right. I tried. I gave it a shot.
All
This
right,
is too much.
Battle rhinos were never used for war because they are untamable.
Yeah, you can't. You kidding me?
Did they ever use battle hippos?
Oh, battle
Because
hip.
those things are tanks. No, battle hippos were never used too. They're aggressive, untamable, and unpredictable.
What about battle lions?
But I guess elephants are so smart that they could be trained. Battle lions, they would have lions battle in the Colosseum.
Yes, lions were used in battle
Yes, okay, yeah.
against the
Wow.
Egyptians and Ethiopians. That would be terrifying. You do see, I forget, in Africa that they'll have like chained, like walking them around like dogs, cheetahs.
Really?
Yeah, cheetahs and hyenas they'll do.
That would.
Look that up. Hyena on
Hyenas
a chain.
are scary looking beasts.
Yeah, they are.
And they're huge. Like you think that they're not big, but they are big.
Speaking of elephants, they found skeletons in
hyenas getting
Sicily
walked.
of pygmy elephants. So there was a time where they had like little mini elephants that lived in Sicily.
No way.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
I think that's why one of the cities there, their like symbol is an elephant.
Look at that guy walking him around on a chain. Imagine how terrified you'd be walking around the street.
Why would you want one of these things as a pet? They make like the worst noise ever. Mm-hmm. They're like mangy looking.
Yeah. I mean, think about the guys that are in like UAE that are super rich. And they have lions and
Yeah, they have
stuff,
lions
or,
and tigers.
like, Bengal tigers in their house.
Yeah, when I was at the World Cup in Qatar, this guy I knew was like, I ended up partying with these princes, and they brought me back to their house, and sure enough, they had a pet lion, a pet tiger, and he was taking photos with the tiger in his lap and shit. So that for sure happens. Now back to Italy. I know you're currently working on getting your Italian citizenship.
Got it. Got it
got it?
last year.
All right, my wife's friend was doing the same thing, but they told her that she actually had to like live there for over a year or something like that. But
So
have they since changed it?
something just happened where they like made it way more strict.
Yeah, because of population decline.
You think it would be the other way around.
Like
You would-
their population decline in Italy is pretty intense.
it's bad, but so
Yeah.
you would think they would open it up because they need more people, but they
Yeah,
actually made it
encourage
harder.
Oh, they made it harder.
Yeah, which I don't understand.
Yeah, that
'Cause-
doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
because
'cause-
everybody else is trying to make it easier.
So after I paid a lawyer in Rome to do all the work. You can do it yourself, but you literally have to like go there in person and dig up like birth certificates and records, death certificates for your lineage. You have to put it all together, prove, submit it to the embassy, or you can pay an attorney who's there to do this all for you. There's a bunch of services that do it. I found a really good woman who did it all for me. It took like 2 years. It moves at a snail's pace. But yeah, I got it last year. And then because I did it for myself and it's all the same paperwork, I wanted to do it for my 2 younger sisters. And they got in just under the cutoff. Like the attorney messaged me and was like, if they're going to apply, they need to apply now, because I thought she was just trying to like shake me down for more money. But I looked it up, and then sure enough, like 2 months later, the Italian government like closed it off. So I don't know what happened, but yeah, I'm very fortunate. I went over there a few months ago and I used my EU passport for the first time. It was awesome.
Now, is it a place that you think you would move to at some point in your life, or
I go back and forth, man. I'm very like torn. Every time I'm there, it's just like it's just paradise. So you miss very little about, at least for me, I miss very little about back here.
Yeah.
And every time I have to leave, I'm like, why am I going home? Like, God, I wish I could just like stay here longer. So I don't know. I think if all things considered, if I could line up a job and see my family regularly and be there, I would love to.
Yeah. Or if you could just work it out where like you spend 3 months a year there, that could be perfect.
Yeah, that would be sick.
I mean, if you could go for the winter away from Chicago in the winter and go to Sicily.
That would be very, very sick.
I mean, it still gets a little chilly there in the winter, I'd say.
Their chili is like Florida chili, though. Like it drops to 60 and everyone's in like coats and like Chicago.
Yeah.
Chicago schools you really fast to what cold really is. Like being here, I mean, how many years have you been here now?
2, like 2.5.
Yeah, like you know what real cold is now.
Yeah, but I don't think it's as bad as everybody says. Like, I think if you work construction, it would be terrible. But like, if you are just a person that works in an office building, even when it's like negative, I don't wear a jacket. Like, I just put a hoodie on and walk around to the few places I need to be. Like, it's not that. I don't think people are like, oh, you're a Southern boy, it's going to be difficult. I would 1,000% rather be here in the winter than in Texas in the summer.
No way.
Oh, God. It's not even remotely close, dude. In San Antonio, it's over 100 days out of the year. Like 100 days in a row. So you can't, it was so hot. My mailbox was like 5 blocks away that I'm like, I'm not walking down there to get it. I would fire up my riding lawnmower and ride that bitch down there because I didn't want to walk on the pavement for that long. Throw it as fast as it could go and go down there. You can't do shit outside. Like golf courses that are like $170, $180 a round in the morning, $25 if you tee off at 2 because it is so goddamn hot.
No way.
That I would come back after, because I would do that. I don't have the money for $180 a round. So I would go in, my pants would be soaked in sweat. I looked like I just went hippo mode, like in a water trap. And then I would go get off the golf course, immediately drive to the closest gas station and go sit in the beer cooler for like 10 minutes so I could cool down. It's unimaginably hot. I would rather be here for a month and a half of soup, because it's really only super cold from January to like the end of February. 6 weeks ain't
it's like
shit.
the last 2 weeks of January that are usually the worst.
Yeah.
I mean, do you have mornings, though, where you have to, like, scrape off your car, wait for the car to heat up, or do you keep that in the garage?
I keep it in the garage, and auto start for your car is a lifesaver. Okay, so I put that on, like, 10 minutes before I leave. My heated seats are going. It's warm in there. The only thing that sucks is if you have dogs. Like, the dogs, when it's super cold, Baby Dale just gives up. Like, he walks out to the patio and will legit fall on his side and be like, "This is it for me. You better come get me, Dad, or I'm dead."
I loved during the vortex. I'll never forget taking my dog out, and we got 2 steps out the door, and he just turned back and looked at me like, "Are you serious?"
Yeah. Yeah.
The thing about homes in a lot of Italy, when I was living in Venice, the insulation is so bad. So the winter wasn't that cold, but I was cold all the time just because like your apartment did not retain heat at all. So we just had this like space heater that we'd have to turn on. And
where were you?
I was right in Venice for a year.
Oh yeah, it's right by the Alps.
So
it
that's
gets freezing up there.
Different than Sicily, but I remember just trying to like type and my fingers were losing circulation and shit. But even when I lived in Guangzhou, China, which is the same latitude as Key West, Florida, but none of the apartments had like heat. I remember just being freezing all winter and like having to take down my curtains and wrap them around me because I didn't have enough warm blankets.
It's the same. Is it super elevated?
No, it's not super elevated, but I think there's something about ocean currents and stuff, because it's definitely not the same climate as Key West.
Yeah,
but
that's
it's as
surprising.
far south as Key West. But that completely varies, because like Boston is like, if you look at like southern Spain, it's like the same latitude as Boston, but southern Spain is way warmer than Boston. It has to do with like ocean currents and stuff, I think.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I will say the Mediterranean and like especially around southern Italy, southern Spain, Greece, like that is probably the best hippo mode water in the world. Just nice and blue, clear.
It's incredible.
It gets warm, but it doesn't get so warm. Like I don't really like swimming in the ocean when it's just like it feels like a bath.
You're right.
You want it to have like a little bit of chill.
Like the Florida Atlantic is that way.
Yeah. When it gets like even Charleston, South Carolina, I went
Or the
there
Gulf of
during
Mexico.
Labor Day, and it was just almost too warm.
Yeah.
The beaches are great too. They're very underrated. A lot of tourists go over there and they all go to Amalfi, and it's funny seeing how disappointed everyone is because the beaches are like parts of the Cape. It's just all rocks and like pebbles. It's
And
no
small.
sand. Yeah,
A lot of hills in Amalfi, which like
but
some
that's
Americans can't handle.
Oh yeah, that
But some of them don't really know, and they're like, and they're completely out of shape, and they're like, oh wait, I have to carry my luggage up like
oh dude,
6 flights of stairs just to even get to the front door of my hotel.
It always cracks me up walking back from like dinner or the bars at night, and you're walking up a million stairs, and you see people like bent over, like huffing and puffing, and then there's just like some 90-year-old lady like blowing by him.
Yeah.
That's like lived there and in the best cardio shape in the world. They do it every day, carrying groceries and stuff.
Probably because they're eating healthy food, not Egg McMuffins.
Oh no, the best.
Yeah.
It's night and day compared to what we have here.
Have you ever been to Taormina?
Yeah, that's the. All right, so I'm not the biggest fan of Sicily in the world, but I love Taormina. That is the crown jewel of that island. It's kind of ruined now that White Lotus blew it up, because now it's like blowing up tourist-wise.
Rightfully so. It's gorgeous.
It's unbelievable, but it was like kind of like a hidden gem before that.
Yeah, it's, I mean, I spent maybe 3 or 4 nights there. It's the most touristy part of Sicily, but beautiful, very steep too. That's kind of built on like a cliff face almost. So
great views from like wherever you are. You can pretty much see the water. And then the main strip is just nothing but restaurants and cafes and bars, and it is like popping morning, noon, and night. That's like my favorite place to go when I'm over there.
I got an Airbnb there, and it was this beautiful 3-bedroom apartment with sweeping views of the ocean for just like $100 a night, maybe. But I read the reviews first, and everyone's like, just be prepared, because in order to get to this place, you got to walk up like 500 yards of steps or something crazy. And I was like, all right, we're young and fit. We can do it. And it was a struggle. They sent someone to help us with our bags when we first arrived. But then anytime you walked into town, you just had like just crazy steep steps back to your place. But it was worth it in my mind, because then it's like each day you're getting a little bit of a workout. And you just have this like, incredible spot to yourself up on the top of this mountain.
But if you're crushing wine, that's tough.
But then, you get to burn. You go and stuff your face, drink a bunch of wine, and then you kind of get to like burn off some of the booze and calories on your way home.
But stairs are tough when you're hammered.
It was 100% worth it. I'd be willing to include the link in this podcast. I found the Airbnb. It's a 4.94, but the host is like very.
Damn.
He's like, if you are elderly or obese, I repeat, do not book my Airbnb. You need to be fit in order to even get to this spot, but it was worth it. And I think Sicily in general is fairly cheap. Like, it's cheaper than going to the Amalfi Coast or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, the very popular tourism places, like everywhere in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
if you're going to like a resort.
Yeah, you go to Mexico, you can live on pennies a day. You go to Cancun or Cabo, they know, like, oh, Americans will pay any amount we charge.
Yeah.
Same in, Positano and Lake Como, parts of Venice.
Yeah, but if you use Airbnb, you can usually find some cheap spots when you're traveling there.
Europe is still like pretty moderate, I'd say, compared to spots over here. Like,
I mean, traveling around the U.S., it's pretty unheard of even to find like a hotel for $100 a night.
I know. And
if you do pay $100 a night in the U.S., you are
you
Staying
can't.
at the Holland Tunnel. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you can't expect much.
You mentioned that.
It's tough. I have a hidden gem over there though, still, that very few people have heard of or been to besides locals. It's kind of like a local vacation spot. The Aeolian Islands. Have you heard of them?
You were telling me about them, so I think I looked them up. So they're islands off the coast of Sicily.
Wow, you spelt it right, Sam. That's
No, he
impressive.
did. That was autocorrect.
Yeah, it was on.
Oh, was?
I don't think Sam spelled anything correct since we were doing the podcast.
So the most,
Yeah.
so off the top of my head, don't ruin it. The most famous ones are Volcano, Stromboli, and my favorite is Lipari.
Wait, those are the names of the islands?
Yes.
Volcano Island,
they're-
Stromboli Island?
Yes.
Isn't a Stromboli like a calzone?
Yeah, they named it after the island.
Okay.
So
Oh,
they are very, very tiny. I'm talking like you can walk them in a day, and not even half a day. You can
Yeah.
bike them in a few hours. But they're all volcano, so they're all like made from what's that called? Archipelago? Is that how those form?
No. So, it's a volcanic archipelago.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, an archipelago just means like a group of islands, a chain of islands.
All right. So
Click on that.
Yeah,
Sam.
they're-
that big picture. That's,
they're right off the north coast.
castle.
They're right off the north coast. You get there by boat, and it's a really quick ferry ride. Super cheap, but when I tell you like the most beautiful, like look at the water. Like it is absolutely incredible. Hotels there are beautiful. They're not crazy expensive. The restaurants are unbelievable.
cruising around in one of those little boats, like a wooden boat, would be.
Yeah, it's
There's the castle.
Yeah, that
It's
shit
sick.
looks
Click on that.
sick.
It's sick. Lipari, been there forever. It's like unheard of. I mean, best food, nicest people. It sounds like made up, but at the very top of the island, like the summit, the peak, whatever, there's this little tiny, like it's not a church, a chapel. It's like this little tiny chapel that maybe seats 50 people. And to get there, like you said, you're literally walking, just like you walk, and it's like so steep. And all these old people go there every weekend, like will hike all the way up there from town. When you get up there, there's all these olive trees. It's like an olive garden around it, and it is like you have to like pinch yourself looking out, because it's just, you see the mainland of Sicily to one side. You can see like the tip of
Mount Etna?
yeah, oh yeah, Etna you can see from like anywhere, but you
My
can
nemesis.
see
That's
yeah,
where
you
my
can
eyes are
see
at.
that you can see the mainland of Calabria, and then it's just the crystal clear blue water everywhere. It's unbelievable. It's like one of my favorite places in the world. So
The Aeolian Islands.
yep.
What
But
is
it's not somewhere like you can easily get to, because you got to get to Italy, then you got to get to Sicily, and then you got to go there. So it's kind of a bitch to get to, but it's worth it.
Can you take a ferry from Calabria as well?
I don't think so. I think you have to go to Messina from.
Zoom out a little bit. Okay, so
Yeah.
Messina, I've always like read Reddit threads where they're like, "Why haven't they built a bridge?" That
They are.
connects the boot.
They're doing it.
Really.
Yeah.
They're starting to build a bridge.
Yep, they finally began. It's been like in the works for 10 years, and all the locals there are like, okay. But yeah, they finally.
because it is
How
like,
far is it? How long is it?
I don't think it's that far. I mean, you can literally from where we're at in like Pizzo, you can see you can see Sicily like
Yeah.
across the water.
So it's only 3 kilometers.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
So yeah, humans have built way longer
Yeah, it's
bridges.
a mile
I
and a
think
half-
the
mile
issue
and
is like
seven,
the
yeah.
currents there are super strong, so which will like complicate things. It's not like you're building a bridge across Lake Pontchartrain or whatever it's called
Yeah.
near New Orleans.
Yeah, that's like 40 something miles.
Yeah,
Right.
And that's just kind of on the. I don't think they can have a
Very
bridge that's on
shallow.
the surface of the water because there's tons of big ships that go through there. So it's probably got to be tall. But
The one that's in Key West is 7 miles.
oh, really? That like oh yeah, we drove over that, right?
Maybe.
I
the
think we
7
did. I
mile
remember when
bridge.
we went maybe from Key West to like Marathon Key. At one point, we were on a bridge for a good like
Yeah.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
So have you traveled like all over Sicily when you've traveled,
Yeah.
or are you mainly just in one spot?
No. Like I said, Syracuse and Taormina are definitely my favorite. Like some of the other major cities are just kind of, I mean, Southern Italy in general is just like, the people are for the most part really nice, but that if there's any crime in that whole country you got to worry about, it's down there in Naples.
Yeah,
it-
which is where the Mafia is from.
Yeah, but I mean, it's there for a reason. Unemployment is 40% in Southern Italy, which is wild.
That is crazy, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, people, if they can't work, I mean, the mob employs more people than the government there. So that's why, they have the power that they do.
And I was reading that like the Mafia kind of first started around the lemon trade. Like lemons were so valuable in the 1800s or something because all of Europe needed vitamin C, probably to cure scurvy. Like
Yeah, I didn't
people on
think
boats
about
used
that.
to just die from scurvy all the time, and they had no idea what caused it. All you need to do is eat like one slice of lime a day.
No
and
way.
you're fine. And they didn't learn that until like the 1800s. So
How did they figure that out? Just trial and error?
I think, yeah, maybe they stopped on like a tropical island and they were like, oh, they got oranges. And then like everybody just magically got better. But it took them forever. Like there was a good 1,000 years where people were just dying of scurvy. On
I
boats.
never knew that that's what scurvy was. It
Oh,
was-
really?
It was
Yeah.
vitamin C deficiency.
Yep.
That's all it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
No shit.
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if there's people in this office that are going to get scurvy. we don't have the healthiest office.
Yeah.
It's like all you got to do is just eat like a couple fruits and veggies and like
So true.
you won't get it. But I'm curious, like how did they find out?
It sounds so much worse. It sounds like the grossest, like,
Yeah, dude, and it sounds
scurvy.
like when you start to get scurvy, like the tissue in your body starts to break down because it like needs vitamin C to like make certain proteins. So your like teeth will start falling out. Your like skin will just start like falling off.
Have you heard? I'm sure you heard of the show Shogun. Like
Yeah.
in the book Shogun, they go into crazy detail for like 50 pages about the effects and how scurvy. They were just looking for land, so because so many people on this boat were dying, and there was only like 5 or 6 people left that got there. And as soon as they like started eating fresh vegetables, everybody got bad. But like the captain of the ship was fucked, and they went into detail about what it does to your face and like how it basically forms almost like a leprosy type shit.
Yeah, but yeah, all you need is just suck one lemon.
Yep.
So yeah, when they learned about that, the lemon industry in Sicily took off. It was in such high demand that I think like that's when the Mafia came to be, to kind of just protect the lemon trade. Or
You think that's why they started doing limoncello?
I mean, is limoncello from Sicily? I wouldn't be shocked. Like,
I don't know. I don't want to misquote myself. It's definitely famous as hell down there.
yeah,
All of them are. Arancello, which is orange,
yep.
which I think is so good.
Is there a grapefruit one?
I don't know, actually.
I'm a huge grapefruit guy.
Me
like
too.
Palomas. Like
Me too, man.
That's my number one favorite cocktail.
Oh, dude,
Love
in the
a Paloma.
morning, get breakfast. Is there anything better than fresh grapefruit juice?
Oh, I thought you were
no,
gonna say,
dude.
is
Like
there
it
anything
cuts
better than a
through
Paloma for
everything.
breakfast?
Like
It
it's
is
so refreshing.
The best.
Now let me tell you this: my favorite thing to eat grapefruit juice with is a chocolate chip cookie. And
Does
Can't
it?
say I've tried.
like I love chocolate chip cookies with citrus because like you eat a chocolate chip cookie or something that's super sweet like that, it sticks on your throat, like it's in your mouth so much. The citrus is a palate cleanser in the best way. And everybody, when I post it on Twitter, like is always like, that's disgusting. But it does. It like rips through all the sweetness and it takes that out of your mouth, which I hate having chocolate like flavor.
Honestly, it makes sense because a lot of like the foo-foo restaurants you go to, the palate cleanser they give you is lemon sorbet.
Yeah.
Sorbet.
Yeah.
Sorbet, I was going to say. Yeah, and that you always take it and you're like, I wonder, but that there's rhyme to the, or reason to the rhyme, rhyme to the reason. Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
I guess the Amalfi Coast, Bay of Naples, and the island of Capri claim limoncello. But you'll see, like, pretty much in all of Southern Italy, like, all the clothes are decorated with lemons. They've got all these, like, lemon sculptures all over the place. It's a big part of the culture.
Yeah.
For palomas in Italy, do they they still do tequila?
I
don't know.
Because,
be
I don't
honest.
remember seeing much tequila in Italy. But obviously, if you're at, like, a fancy bar, they'll have it. But
Yeah. Have you ever had a paloma with mezcal?
No, but you're speaking my language now, man. Mezcal
Mm-hmm.
and grapefruit. Oh,
It's fire.
those are like my two favorite things. That sounds excellent.
do you still have any family that are living out in
Oh
Italy?
yeah.
Okay.
The whole like side of my family.
So was it your grandparents that moved here, or was it your great-grandparents?
My
Okay.
yeah, on my dad's side, and they're up in, well, they're scattered now, but they're mainly in Massachusetts
Okay.
still. So
Is that the rule? Like, as long as you have like one Italian grandparent or great-grandparent, that you can apply for citizenship?
yeah, so it's juris sanguis, which it means like by blood. So if they can trace your like lineage back 2 generations,
Okay.
you're good,
All right. Nice.
I think.
I'll be a little disappointed if you haven't tried this. But when you were in Sicily, did you eat any horse?
Dude, I had horse when I was in Connecticut one time. the scumbag mobsters in Connecticut eat that. Yeah, dude, it messes it. Can we swear on here?
Yeah.
What are you talking
I'm not.
about?
I don't want to just.
Absurd question to ask for a Barstool
You've worked at
podcast.
Barstool forever.
I didn't know if this was a clean show or not. It's
this is the one
informational.
clean show
Well,
at
I don't want to
Barstool.
just start throwing f bombs, but dude,
With
it
me
messes.
on it.
It messes me up so much knowing that people. There's an industry over there. Like people raise horses to slaughter them and eat them and put them on menus places. I'm like, that's so fucked up.
But why? I honestly don't understand.
They claim it's good. It's not good.
But what's the difference
not
between
bad.
eating a horse and eating a cow?
Great question.
I think it is
You know?
for a while, like, horses were man's best friend, even more so than dogs. Like, back before cars, I mean, your horse was your livelihood. It was your transportation. It was like having a car that has feelings and emotions and a brain.
You can train a cow to do all that.
Yeah,
Maybe not
no-
ride. Maybe
one's
not
riding
ride.
cows.
But look it
But
up,
yes,
Sam. Like
I would
there's
say-
all kinds of cows that they have like big time emotions. They'll
It
like
messes-
cuddle with you.
It messes me
Yeah.
up seeing that stuff too.
Yeah. Pigs, same way. Pigs
Even
are super
smarter.
smart.
Pigs are even smarter.
Yeah,
than,
like you could train a pig.
Yeah.
Is kind of like a cat where it has the natural inclination to use a litter box. Like you can train pigs to do whatever.
Yeah, like I'm sure pigs are probably even smarter than horses. Who is smarter, pigs or horses?
What did you have?
so-
Well,
So I just knew that I went to Catania in Sicily and that they're kind of famous for their horse. So I went to one horse restaurant and I had horse 3 ways. I had like a horse steak. I had horse medallions. I think I had some horse meatballs. And yeah, I will say it's not bad. I think if you served it to some people and didn't tell them it was horse, they would just assume that they're eating beef. But it wasn't like, I would say probably beef is better than horse. So it's like I would never go out of my way to try to like find horse again. But
Probably
it,
just
but
way
it,
more
but it was
fatty.
not bad at all.
it reminded me of it. Like looked like elk, which it got me excited, but it tasted like venison. Not that I hate venison, but I was like, oh, if I'm gonna eat a horse, like it's got to be better than this. Elk is my favorite meat on the planet. I think that's the best tasting.
I agree. Elk and antelope are amazing.
I have not had antelope.
Antelope is fire.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I think elk is like the absolute best.
Yeah, I had elk for Thanksgiving one time, but
That's a great.
I think it's all about how you cook it though, because like all those meats can be really lean. I think horses for sure like lean too, and I like some fat on my meat. Mm-hmm. Do you know what the leanest meat in the world is?
I feel like I do, but I can't think of it.
Kangaroo.
No, I did not know
Because they're
that.
so fucking jacked.
Yeah, they are jacked.
Yeah, I tried kangaroo at a bar in New York one time.
You know, Islam
this-
Makhachev, he talks about kangaroos all the time. He's like, kangaroo, great striking. Nobody ever checks their wrestling. Nobody ever checks their grappling. It's a great line.
Can they grapple? I mean, yeah, they can knock you out for sure.
Dude, did you see the video a couple months ago that was going around of the guy on the side of the road who, like, first off, I didn't know they were that tall.
Yeah, because they can kind of like stand on their tails, or they use their tails to prop themselves up.
Dude, that's what it did. He was like staring it down and it just leaned back and fucking kicked him. And he had to go like 10 yards.
Yeah.
He went flying.
Yeah, they will fuck you up.
Yeah, look how
Oh my God, it's got that dog.
Oh yeah, that was when that guy holds. Yeah, he was holding this Australian man's dog hostage, and the guy came up and just punched him in the face.
Are they predators? Is that why they go after dogs?
I don't know.
They definitely aren't meat eaters, right?
Oh, maybe. Look that up, Sam. Are they omnivores or carnivores? I would imagine omnivore.
Do you know what being a carnivore means, Sam? Yeah. Okay. I don't know.
No, they're just straight up
yeah.
herbivores.
Herbivores.
I wonder what the...
But they'll choke your dog out. They'll choke a human out. I think maybe they're just territorial.
They know jujitsu.
Animals are like the craziest.
Because even when a goose comes at you, that's terrifying.
Yeah, gooses are terrifying creatures, and when they latch onto your finger, they won't let go.
Let's talk little mafia stuff.
Oh yeah, do you know the history of how the mafia helped America in World War II?
No.
No, okay. I was hoping you do because I don't really know.
I thought you were about to tell us.
I was hoping you did.
Yeah.
Dante might know.
No, I was hoping
that would
you
be
did.
a good episode of High School.
Yeah, for
how,
sure.
How the mafia helped USA. I mean, we can do it as its own high school.
So I know they were very anti-fascist. Obviously, they hated Mussolini because he clamped down on him. So it was in their interest for us to take him down. So I get the background of it, but I don't know how they actually. Okay. I don't know if it was like intelligence or information or what it was.
Yeah, something about they would like set like fires or they would put markers like at the places where the U.S. planes should bomb. So they were either like flagging for the Americans where they should bomb, or they were flagging where the Americans should land.
I know a lot of people, you think Mafia, you think like the Godfather movies.
Let's see.
The Godfather book is unbelievably good. Like you know, people will talk about, oh, it's 3 hours long and there's 3 of them. It starts like almost 400 pages into the book. Like the background of what's going on in Sicily and how the Mafia like developed and how like the American Mafia here, how elevated you were if you had Sicilian roots and you were like actually from Sicily instead of like the United States. If you were born in Sicily, you're automatically like up the chain.
Yep.
It's fascinating. Like the culture of the Mafia and how they basically operate is fascinating.
Could not agree more. I read him in high school. Mario Puzo was the author, and dude, he actually wrote like books after the trilogy that were like the story continued, like just as good. Like that, I remember same thing being like, yeah, the movie's great, but the book was like
because I hadn't seen the movie until after I read the books.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so when I went into it knowing just the book stuff, this was.
I didn't
this
even
summer.
know that the movie was based on a book.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a fantastic book.
yeah. They're awesome.
And then Francis Coppola. Did he just he wrote a screenplay adapted from the book?
Mm-hmm. And even his introduction, like the prologue of the book is Francis Ford Coppola, or the introduction is him talking about how much research went in, like when the author was writing it. He said that was one of the big reasons why he accepted to be the director and like sought it out, because he had read the book and loved it so much and learned so much that he wanted to do the story.
Okay. So the movie itself is seen as like a fairly accurate representation of the Mafia during that time period?
I don't know about the movie, but the book definitely is.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they based it loosely, just like how Casino was based loosely on like the real Chicago. They made it Kansas City in the movie, but it was the Chicago mob infiltrating Vegas and blowing Vegas up. The Godfather was based loosely on the families coming over from Sicily and like running New York
and getting involved in Vegas themselves.
Yep. Eventually, politics, Cuba, like all that shit was
when the
like
crime
legit.
families would like come together for certain big issues and then break back apart.
Yep.
Yep.
Like Johnny Fontaine or whatever is Sinatra.
Oh
like,
shit. Yep.
Yeah. It's pretty. There was my sister like was obsessed with it because she loves Miles Teller. No comment, but there was a show on I think it was on Peacock that was based on a show based on making The Godfather.
Oh yeah.
I forget what it was called, but it was like supposed to be really, really good. And it was about like the background, what went into the writing, how the mob like tried to shut it down and was like, we don't want this becoming like a big thing.
And I think Francis Ford Coppola now lives in Italy, or at least he owns like a giant mansion out there.
I mean, he has a huge vineyard out there.
Yeah.
He's got his own
That's
wine.
what I'm thinking of.
Chaps, if you loved that book, I have a one that will seriously blow your mind because it's as legit as it gets. It's called Gomorrah.
I've heard of it.
And it is about the mob today. I actually have been meaning to write a blog about this for like a year, and this is perfect because when this episode comes out, I will frame it around us talking about this on this episode.
Okay.
But if you like Sopranos, which I know millions of people do, and they think it's the best show of all time,
Glenny Balls.
Gomorrah will...
Roberto Saviano?
Yes. Who is in witness protection now because
of the book.
The money that is out on his head is in like the millions. Yes. He wrote this book. It blew up. It turned into a television show over there on RAI. And HBO licensed it, dubbed it. Best way to watch it is with English subtitles and the Italian. Even if you like speak Italian, like I was saying earlier, their dialect is like street Napolitan and Sicilian. It's like, what the fuck are they saying? But it's so good. It's so real. And it's like The Wire, basically. Okay. It's like that show. It's fucking awesome.
They made
a movie.
Pages, yeah.
They made a movie in the middle of it. It was like one of the biggest shows in Europe of all time.
All right.
And it's fantastic.
I'll check it out.
Great book, great show, Gomorrah.
Dude, I lived in Italy for a year. I maybe learned 5 words.
How?
It's pretty pathetic.
I don't get that. You soak up everything like a sponge.
I was just like living in Venice. There's a lot of tourists. You know, everybody there in Venice can speak English.
Were you there for any of the flooding?
Traveling. No, I was looking forward to the floods.
Why?
I was like, that's going to be great content. Just like me, like
you're a psycho.
Yeah, and I was on the second floor, so like at least our own apartment wouldn't be flooded. But I was looking forward to like putting on my fishing waders and just like
living like the movie
slogging
Parasite.
through the city.
So
yeah.
So what do you know the background behind that? Whatever it's called that they built to try to
a seawall? Or do they have a?
No, they built that.
Venice built something to try to prevent flooding?
Yeah, like a bunch of navies from around the world helped them construct it.
Like levees?
Kinda, but it's more It's more mechanized.
Yeah, I do want to make Venice its own episode of the pod at some point because
You
like
should.
the history is fascinating and
Yeah,
I'm
the Mose
sure I've got
system.
some
Here
stories.
it is.
The Mose system.
Yeah.
And now is it under construction or has it already been
I
built?
don't know if it's complete yet, but it was some huge project that is like supposedly going to save it because with the rising ocean levels, they're saying without it, Venice would be completely underwater like in
like
10,
50
15 years or
yeah.
something.
They're doing that same type of system in Louisiana.
Are they?
I would hope so. Now, Dante, I got to ask you about this because I get targeted ads all the time about it's like first it was buy a house in Italy for $1 and now it's gone up and now they're like you can buy a house for like 10,000 euros, 10 to 30,000 euros, and like that's legit. I think my wife has a friend who actually did it.
I know people who've done it.
Yeah. So is
Yeah.
that legit? I think it's like,
Yeah.
I think the only catch is that these houses are sometimes in pretty rural communities.
Oh, they're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, the middle of nowhere. They can be pretty run down, but it is legit that you can.
Yeah.
You could buy a house for 10,000 euros and then.
Yep. It's part of
it
the
up.
it's part of the population decline and they're trying to cut that off and they're also trying to get people
To like
in that are
invest
going
in
to
Italy.
invest that are going to invest money into crumbling architecture. I know a woman, it's one of those things where I think like if you are retired, it's like no brainer.
Yeah.
Or if you are really like remote, like you can work remote.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Especially with Starlink.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like before doing any remote stuff without internet. Because I'm
Right.
sure those smaller villages don't have.
Dude, so are they like, do they have like hotspots?
Yeah,
now?
they do have. They have like a Starlink Mini now,
Really?
which is like you could put it in your backpack and walk around a bit almost. It's a little heavy, but
I was like not one way or the other on it. For me, the only thing back in the day, one of my friends in Massachusetts had satellite internet and it was like worse than 56K.
Oh, no, this shit's fast as hell.
Dude, I used it on a United plane
Yes.
a
Yeah,
few months ago and I was like, oh my God, this
Same.
is blazing.
I streamed the Jags game from the plane.
Isn't it nuts?
Yeah, I don't know how it does it, but it's legitimately crazy. I was in the middle of nowhere, Maine, and the house had it, and the internet was faster than my house.
That's
it was,
I
it was
mean-
nuts.
look at Chaps glazing Elon Musk. He's finally coming around on him.
You son of a bitch.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about that, but
Yeah.
whoever he
I
paid,
recant.
Yeah.
whoever he paid to invent it did a great job.
Yeah.
But I get ads for that all the time now, where
Yeah.
it looks like it's like the thing on the roof that just looks like a solar panel.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I do think if you were going to buy one of those houses in Italy, you should probably learn some Italian because they are in communities where probably very few other people
Oh,
there
yeah,
can
yeah,
speak any English. But I see those deals in Sardinia. I would say Sardinia's on my list of like top 5 places I want to go in the next 5 years.
so my really
Those
good
beaches look beautiful.
my really good friend here in Chicago. Have I set you up at Volare yet?
Not yet.
All right, I need to set you and your wife up there. To me, that's the best Italian restaurant in Chicago.
Okay.
Benny Sidhu is the owner. He's right off the boat from Italy. Half his staff is from Sardinia. His chef's from Rome. It's like a real Italian restaurant. And he's been telling me for 20 years, like, fuck Sicily, like, fuck Capri, which I learned, like, really early. Capri is, like, fucking Miami. Now it's
Yeah.
so overrated. But so you got to go to Sardinia. And now, like, over the last 5 years, it's, like, had this huge blow up. It's, like, exploding. Yeah, the beaches are, like, fake looking. It's just very, very rural. I think the population is like a couple hundred, not even, maybe 200,000. Look up the population of Sardinia.
1.6 million.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a pretty large island.
it's huge.
Population, it has a density of about 70 people per square kilometer, so that's That's not dense, right?
No.
No. And then look up a picture of Sardinia Beach. I mean, yeah. So they've got these just beautiful water. There's a couple beaches with these big boulders on it that I always see.
Look at this. This looks like the Caribbean.
I know, and it's like I want to get there soon because it has. I've noticed that too. It's blown up in the last year.
Yeah.
Is that where Rhea and Marty Mush went for part of their honeymoon?
I think so. It's also where a ton of people that used to go to like the French Riviera and like vacation over there. That's where they're all heading now.
Oh, look at that hippo mode spot. You got the fucking main ocean, and then behind the beach, there's another little hippo mode spot.
It's sick.
Damn, that looks fucking. I gotta get to Sardinia. Do you have any more recs? So, say if someone's listening to this pod, planning a trip to Italy, like 2 places they have to go to and 2 meals they have to have.
I think, to me, Florence is the greatest city in the world. Personally. If I were to move, I would have a really hard time not moving to Florence. It feels like you're in, I know it sounds kind of lame, but it feels like you're like walking in a fairy tale or like a Disney movie everywhere you go. Just the history, the architecture, the Arno River looks like oil painting, all hours of the day. The sunset's ridiculous.
The food's incredible.
Food is like best of both worlds.
No AC though, and it gets hot there. And the only bad thing about Florence, I'll say, is that there's no solid places to go hippo mode. It's right in the middle of the country. I don't think people swim in that river.
No, it's gross. Yeah, you can't do that.
All right.
But yeah, Florence and I don't know. I already said.
And the Aeolian Islands.
Yeah, I already said Lipari.
Lipari?
Yeah, that's one of the islands.
Okay.
There's 7 islands.
Yeah. Okay.
I named 3 of them. I can't think of the other ones off the top of my head. Let's go with. I'll say Tropea. Tropea it's down in Calabria, and like I said earlier, it feels like it reminds me of the Virgin Islands. They're really famous for their onions for some reason. They have like those very sweet Tropea onions, but yeah, that's random. I don't know why I said that.
Well, I think when I was doing a little research on
gonna love it though.
Sicily, I think I saw something that like in Sicily they grow onions as large as your head.
So Tropea onions are huge, but they're like usually, I guess, the bigger the onion, the less the taste. These ones are like the opposite.
Okay.
They're really famous for them, and it's funny because the rest of the people in Calabria, like the people in Reggio, are like bullshit that Tropea gets credit for it because everyone's like they grow them everywhere down here. Why does Tropea get to have them called that? But yeah, it's beautiful down there. The beaches are stunning. Everything's so cheap. Food's lights out. Everything you eat is like pulled out of the ocean that morning. It's crazy. So those would be mine. And for foods, I would say the cingale is just like wild boar is like the best wild boar ragu sauce is. My mouth is like salivating right now. Just
is that a meal you can get all over Italy, or is that just mainly
it's mostly a northern thing.
Okay.
Florence is really famous for it, along with the pear ravioli and steak.
Yep.
Bistecca Fiorentine, and then I don't know. I love seafood and shellfish, so when I'm down south, I just go nuts on clams, razor clams.
Americans don't eat enough razor clams. I'll say it.
They can be really gross.
That's brave.
I mean, I don't think I've tried it once, but it was at this like very fancy spot. You don't see them on menus at seafood places here.
If they're not cooked like great, they're not great. Mm-hmm. I've had them pretty bad before. Mussels, obviously, and yeah, the fish. The fish.
They do. I will say Italians kind of like love their sardines, and like I don't know, sardines aren't.
I'm not a fan either. I get a lot of hate for.
Okay, yeah.
I like sardines.
I mean, I don't hate a sardine, but if I'm going out for like a nice, like if I'm at a fancy seafood restaurant, it's probably the last thing I'd order.
The name's escaping me. What's the big pot of soup that has like clams and mussels and all kinds of shit in it?
Paella?
No.
No,
It's like a soup.
Cipollini,
Maybe.
Italian seafood soup?
fish soup.
Yeah. Fish soup. Yeah.
I think it's Cipollini.
Oh, they also, isn't like a famous Italian dish? It's called like the Feast of the Seven Fishes or
yeah,
something.
yeah,
Yeah.
Cioppino.
Yeah. That shit is amazing. I love that. You ever had that?
Yeah, it's like fish stew.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah. The only thing that I don't like that they eat a lot. Well, I'm with you. I don't like sardines and anchovies. I hate how when they put anchovies on pizzas for no reason.
But you like it in Caesar salad.
I love it in a Caesar salad.
Yeah.
I feel like the people who are like, I like Caesar salads, but I don't like to like eat it with anchovies. It's like, well, actual Caesar salad dressing is made with
I know
anchovies.
they don't know that. You can't tell them that. There's anchovy paste in Caesar dressing.
Yeah.
I don't like eel. Eel grosses me. I think I eat everything and I'll try everything. Eel, for some reason, it's like a mental thing. Can't eat it. Grosses
I only
me
eat
out.
eel on sushi. So I've eaten,
Oh, yeah.
I eat like Japanese style eel. I don't think I've ever had Italian style eel.
Do they always grill it?
Yes.
It
In
has that
Japan,
weird flavor to me.
They always put the same sauce on it. So
Yeah.
they even call it eel sauce.
Yeah.
Now, does it like? Do they never just serve it plain because they're like,
I've never
actually
seen-
plain eel doesn't taste that good?
I've never seen eel like sashimi. Like it's always either pan seared or grilled.
Okay, because I mean, I think I might just love eel sauce. I don't
Eel
know if-
sauce is fantastic.
Yeah.
You like it? Because typically they'll cook it and they'll put it over the top of sushi. It's rarely like inside.
Okay.
It's typically laid over the
yeah,
top.
that shit's good.
Yeah, it's fire.
But
Eel
I
sauce
think
is
I just like the
amazing.
sauce, and I think Anthony Bourdain said something about like when you order eel at a sushi restaurant, it's usually the least fresh fish because they know they can just put the sauce over it, and it won't really matter how fresh it is.
That's all right. Now I feel validated.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, one other thing that sounds so gross, but I feel like it's one of those things like you have to try when you're there, like Rocky Mountain oysters. Like when you go to,
yeah.
you have to try them. As
Yeah.
gross as it fucking is. Tripe in Florence is. Growing up as a kid, I'm like scarred from my grandfather would just eat them like, and they were like rubber bands. I remember he would like try this, and just chewing it for
Very
an hour.
chewy.
And we go, what is this? It's like, pig intestine. And we're like, ugh. But they cook it over there so well, and the way it's plated, they do these sandwiches, like it's like a street food over there.
Oh yeah, I had
And-
that in Sicily.
Yeah, and it just falls apart, and it's so fucking good. And it's one of those things where if you just bought it and handed it to somebody and told them to try it, they would house it and be like, "Oh my god, what was that?" But if you tell them like you have to go get a tripe sandwich, they'd be like, "Oh, that's disgusting. I would never do that."
I had one of those in Sicily. I knew it was a tripe sandwich. All I recall is just it gave me the worst heartburn of my life.
Really?
Yeah, so I didn't have a great experience with it. They also do like spleen sandwiches down in Sicily.
Oh, I didn't. I haven't had one of those.
Yeah, I think I only had the intestine sandwich. Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan, but I was like, I got to try it. just 'cause it's
What would
famous
be
street
your
food.
two must tries?
Must tries in Italy?
Yeah.
I mean, probably just house a bunch of arancinis in Sicily, and wasn't a fan of the seafood in Venice. It's all like cuttlefish and I don't know. But like it's in Sicily, it's all cuttlefish, creamed cod, sardines. Wasn't a huge fan of that, but I would go arancinis in Sicily and then carbonara in Rome. I think carbonara was invented in Rome, but apparently it was like invented by U.S. soldiers or something it was invented. The Italians created it to make a dish that they thought U.S. soldiers would like.
Wait, are you sure about that?
Carbonara, I don't think is like a very ancient Italian food, or it's like I think it was it became popular in the 1900s.
Did you ever have? I just had to.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was created in 1944.
Carbonara was created in 1944
Oh
for
my
Allied
God.
troops in Italy, using ingredients from their rations like bacon and eggs.
Okay, so you know what I always think whenever I have it is I'm always like, this is like breakfast pasta when you really think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's bacon, eggs, a little bit of cream. Like
Yeah, I mean,
It is-
it's one of my favorite pastas, but I guess not the
When-
most authentic Italian food.
when it is done well, there's nothing better. When it's done poorly, it's like, why did I order this?
Yeah, I would agree
But
with that.
I agree that like getting it over there, that it's hard for them to miss. They just do it so well.
Yeah.
Did you ever have in Venice? Venice is famous for this. Moecchi frite.
Is that a bunch of fried seafood?
Yes.
Yes.
The,
Yeah,
the baby soft shell crabs.
Ooh, I never had that.
Bro, there's only a certain time of year you can get them.
Yeah, I wasn't there for fucking crab season. What the fuck?
Moecchi.
Oh, that's, I mean, that Cold
Free,
Finger's not going to stand a
F-R-I-T-T.
chance with this one. He brought up mochi.
Not fruit. Well, you did fruit.
We're trying to find soft shell crab.
Two T's.
Teas.
Yeah. Oh no, and frite. That's fried. Yeah, here they are, dude. They are. So they. I
Soft
guess.
shell or
So they harvest them when they're. This is really cool. When they're molting,
Yeah.
which means when their shell goes from like.
Shedding their shell.
Yeah. So they can only cook them this way like a certain time of the year. So you'll see them on the menu during this season. I forget when it is. But I went to my favorite restaurant in Venice is this place Da Evo. And
I think you told me that while I lived
yeah,
there too. But
it's awesome. Like
dude,
you have,
I was there for a year. I never tried those things. Those look right up
bro.
my alley.
yeah, that looks delicious.
bro, they were so good. I felt so bad eating them because I'm like big animal guy, and I'm like,
I mean,
these
dude,
little
you
baby-
eat veal, I assume.
I don't. I stopped eating it
Okay, I was gonna say
since my cattle drive.
you'll eat a baby cow, but you won't eat a baby crab.
Won't do it. I won't do it anymore. I was always like, I'll do like ossobuco once a year, and then I went on that cattle drive, and like Chaps was saying earlier, they're so fucking smart, and
Yeah.
the babies are so fucking cute. I was like, I can't fucking.
Yeah,
I'm like
I think
choking up talking about it right now.
When you're eating veal or you're eating lamb, you're eating an animal that's the same age as my child.
Yeah, I can't.
I don't think you can kill anything that you saw it sucking on a nipple.
Rules to live by, I guess.
Yeah, like think about it. What other animal would you like? You wouldn't want a baby pig still sucking on a nipple. You wouldn't want that.
And I guess people do eat baby pig because isn't that what a suckling pig is?
Yes, because it's sucking.
Oh, suckling pig's good too. What the fuck's what's up with all these babies tasting so damn good?
I know.
But I wouldn't really have moral qualms eating a baby crab. That's for
Put
sure.
this on.
And
put,
I'm still gonna eat a bunch of lamb.
put
and
this on
veal.
your list. If you go back, you gotta try to time
Will
it.
do.
They are phenomenal.
All this food talk is making me very hungry. I have not had lunch. But I will open the floor to you if you have any final thoughts.
No,
you'd
this
like
was
to-
awesome, dude.
It was
I'm
a
really
lot of
glad we
fun,
did
man.
this.
Yeah. We'd love to have you back on. We're actually now having Chaps' mom on. 'cause
I know, I heard.
She lived in Sicily for a bit. So we're going to get into that.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Today's episode of Drop a Pin is brought to you by our friends at Blue Chew. Fellas, you already know what time it is. It's time to level up, and Blue Chew just dropped something crazy. I'm talking next level championship belt, gold-plated energy. Blue Chew Gold is the newest innovation from the #1 chewable ED brand. This ain't your grandpa's little blue pill. This is the 4-in-1 beast that's setting the gold standards for performance. We're talking about ingredients that keep the blood flow going, to keep that rocket pumping, to turn up the arousal and connection in your brain and body. Blue Chew Gold dissolves under your tongue and works in as little as 15 minutes. That means you can get it quicker and stay in the game longer, and it's the perfect time for the first 15 in Stu Finer's 15-15-30 method.
For sure.
Elevation without hesitation. This is peak passion and peak performance in a single tablet. If your bed could talk after this, it'd be asking for a break. Make life easier by getting harder and discover your options at BlueChew.com. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Get 10% off your first month of Blue Chew Gold with code DROP. That's promo code DROP. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this podcast.
Drop a Pin is also brought to you by Aura Frames. Aura Frames is the answer to every holiday gifting moment. Never struggle again to find the perfect holiday gift. So it's a digital frame where you can just send photos to. So it's perfect to get for your parents or siblings, just to keep them updated with what's going on in your life. So it's like I gave one to my parents, and now I constantly upload photos of my kid. And I'm going to buy one for my older brother this year too. And I could just order it online and have it shipped to his house. And then, I can see photos of his kid when he gets me in our frame, because it's what I've asked for Christmas, and he'll be able to see photos of my kid as he gets older, which will be great because me and my brother, we live far away. He's in New Mexico, I'm here. So our frames, it's just, it gives you a little window into someone else's life, and it also allows you to just keep your loved ones updated with what's going on in your life. You just share photos and videos effortlessly, and you can preload photos before it ships, so it arrives already with some of your favorite photos in there, and you can get a gift box included. Every frame comes packaged in a premium gift box with no price tag. Don't wait. Win the holidays now with Aura Frames. For a limited time, you can save on this perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames, named #1 by Wirecutter, by using promo code WONTON at checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code WONTON. This deal is exclusive to listeners, and frames sell out fast, so order yours now to get it in time for the holidays. And support this show by mentioning us at checkout. We appreciate all your support. Terms and conditions apply.
Today's show is also brought to you by DraftKings. One touchdown can change everything. The crowd, the momentum, the game itself, it never gets old. Feel that same rush with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, where every touchdown could bring you closer to cashing in. With the DraftKings Sportsbook, all the action is in your hand. First touchdown, anytime touchdown, live bets, every play, every snap, every single game matters. Missouri listeners, listen up. DraftKings Sportsbook is now live in the Show Me State. Here's the best part. New customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly. When your team hits the end zone, you could hit the payload. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the promo code DROP. That's DROP, D-R-O-P. Bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bet if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
I'm a big geography buff. I think I only learned a couple years ago that Kansas City was not in Kansas. It's in Missouri.
That's exactly right.
So if you live in Kansas City, download the DraftKings Sportsbook.
All right, now on Drop a Pin, we are privileged to have my mama on the show. We have quickly had Donnie's dad on the show for like 5 or 10 minutes. But now it's my mom because unlike Dante, my mom has actually lived in Sicily. She lived there with me, I guess I did too, for 3 years. So Mom, I wanted to ask you, when you first got to Sicily, what were your initial impressions?
And also, can I just say something?
Of
to
course.
give the viewer some context, why was your mom living in Sicily?
So she used to be married to a huge piece of shit who was my dad. But he was in the Navy.
Okay.
So she moved around. We lived in Maryland. We lived in Italy. And we lived primarily in Jacksonville. But from the time I was about 1 to 3, we lived in Italy. Okay. So she lived on base, off base. But when you first got there, what were your first impressions?
Okay, well, first of all, you were a lot smaller than that. You were only 2 months old when we got there.
Okay.
Wow.
I got there at night, and my first response was, I thought it was awful. I mean, the hotel that I stayed in was contracted by the military, and it was called the Total Motel. And it smelled musky. It was, I thought I had arrived in hell. I called my mother. I thought I'd made the biggest mistake of my life. So, I just be real. Everybody outside the room was speaking another language. No one spoke English, and I was scared to death. I was only 22 years old.
Oh wow.
I'd never been away from home before. So, and I had a 2-year-old and a newborn.
And I want to preface by saying my mom, her whole life, she lived in that area. It's a very rural area in Florida. So going from that area, Green Cove, Palatka, to Italy had to be an enormous culture shock.
Yeah. At least she'd be able to handle the heat, though.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. The weather wasn't bad. The biggest thing that when I first arrived, of course, like everybody else, I wanted coffee, and which I didn't realize at the time because back then we really didn't know about things. I literally drank 4 cappuccinos a day. Was breastfeeding him.
Yeah, because back in the day,
what's wrong with him? I don't know.
my parents said the same thing. Like in the U.S., you used to only be able to get just normal black coffee.
Yeah.
And then when you go to Italy, they don't really have that, but they have like espresso, cappuccinos, lattes, all this stuff. And like nobody in America even knew what those were until Starbucks took over.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize the amount of caffeine that, I was actually given that. But, it was delicious. And he was the most well-behaved baby.
That's
and it
exactly
was
right.
probably the cappuccino. It was like he started out on Ritalin. I don't know.
Yeah, it was basically my own personal Vyvanse.
Yes.
But when it wasn't dark, did you think it was beautiful?
Not in the area that the motel was in. But then once we got out in the community and stuff, it was very pretty. Everything is really green there, and like the vegetables and fruits and all that are extremely colorful because there's so much volcano ash in the soil. And it's just such a natural area. And, this was a long time ago. So it was even more rural back then. And, Sicily was 20 years behind even Italy. So, it was just like, it was like living someplace really different than the United States, culturally.
Yeah.
And you said one of your favorite aspects about it was the vegetables and fruit, that you would go to like the fresh markets every day to pick up like fresh tomatoes and things like that to cook.
Right. And when I I stayed in the motel for 6 weeks, and then I moved on top of the mountain, which was 45 minutes from the base. It was the highest elevation in Sicily. And so the temperature changes a lot between the mountains and basically the Mediterranean Sea. It's just the temperature is like night and day. And so everything up on the mountain was, it was just cool. And, in the wintertime, they didn't even use refrigerators. The Italian people, we had one, but they had these little tiny, looked like something that you would have in a college dorm. Because they shopped daily for their foods. And then like these little trucks would come around with a loudspeaker, and they would have fresh fruits and vegetables. And then you would run down and you'd purchase it daily like that. And bread would come, and it would be on a speaker. So you would know that it was coming, and you'd get your money and run down and purchase whatever you needed for the day.
It's like a vegetable ice cream truck.
Basically. Yeah. I really loved that part of it. And I guess that was my favorite part of it. But then when I moved out to the beaches, of course, then you get the Mediterranean. Yeah. But it isn't like what we have. It was more rock like they have in California. Mm-hmm. So that was a little bit different,
Where was the motel?
The motel was like 10 minutes away from Catania, which is one of the bigger cities in that area.
The horse capital.
Yeah. The streets are so narrow. And one of the things, I had to learn to drive because Matt's father was gone all the time.
And for those keeping score, I'm Matt.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yep.
Uncle Chapsy over there. So, well, I had to learn to drive a Pinto stick shift up a steep mountain if I wanted to go down to the base. And the craziest thing about that, how we have like a 2-lane road, like, like a highway, but like 2 lanes, they drive 3 cars across there. And you have to really learn to drive like that. And they put the person in the middle is kind of like you play duck, duck, goose, you kind of, it's just crazy the way you have to drive. And when I came back home, I played a video game, a race car drive, and I got pissed because I knew I could make it. That's how I knew I had been living in Sicily too long.
And tell them about what happens there because the roads are so crazy, if you hit like a sheep or something.
Okay, well, first of all, the driving experience is so much different here than here. Like in Sicily, if you blow the horn, you have the right of way. That's who goes first. And then you get on these little side roads, and if you have to stop for sheep, which is like a herd coming across the road, if you hit a sheep, you not only pay for the sheep, but the sheep that the sheep would have had. I mean, so it's a major deal.
Oh, wow. So you got to pay for like future generations of sheep.
Yeah. Was that just an American thing that they made like military members do, or is that everybody?
That's everybody. Yeah. And the police, if they stop you, they taught us when we had to go through indoctrination that if the police over there.
I love that she said indoctrination.
Well, it kind of was.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You had to, if the police over there hold up what they call the popsicle stick and you don't stop, they have a right to shoot you.
Jeez.
And they literally carry machine guns on their hip. I mean, this is real crap. You can look it up.
That's a different type of Italian ice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You never bring up the Mafia, which I was not in the area where the Mafia. I mean, it's possible, but you never were allowed to really say that out loud too much. This is back in the 80s. So, and then of course I live probably 2 hours away from where the capital of the Mafia was. So, so.
Did you love the arancini as much as I did?
My favorite food over there was, what is that? Spaghetti carbonara.
Yeah, we just talked about that. Did you know we just talked about that was made in 1944 because like military members were there for World War II?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
So it was made for the U.S. military, which is why you probably loved it so much.
Oh, what I found really strange about their pizza too is like different from here. And it's really good, but you have to be open to it, was their pizzas, like they put boiled eggs and peas and things like that on it, where we don't do that here. So it was different. Yeah. And
then they put peas in like the lasagna and stuff too, right?
They do. Yeah. They do a lot of that. And I mean, like veal was real popular over there. The food is delicious. The hardest thing in the motel, back to the motel, but when I first saw the dish, they brought me fish, and I thought, I'm from Florida. I thought it was just coming like it normally does. Oh, no. The head was on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm used to that, having lived in China.
Yeah, that had to blow your Palaka mind.
I know. I'm like, I just need to get this crap off my plate. But
now, Chaps mentioned something that he blames his red eyes from having lived in Sicily when he was a baby. Is that true?
Well, he was allergic to volcano ash.
See?
Oh, that will do it.
Yeah. So when we moved up on the mountain.
Wait, when you say moved onto the mountain, did you move onto the volcano?
We lived 2 miles from where the ash was actually coming out of the top of the volcano. We were the
Whoa.
most northern little town up the mountain, because that's a real tourist area. But and they ski and all that kind of stuff. But Mount Etna erupts every so often. But the difference in the ash from Mount Etna and like the volcano in Hawaii. It's a slow running ash, so it's like charcoal that comes down. So you can, as long as there's not a earthquake, you can still get out of the way and all that kind of stuff. But we lived 2 miles. My apartment was on the 4th floor, and you could stand on the balcony and look out, and you could actually see where the fire was coming down. And then
Wow.
the ash would like cover my floor, and I'd have to clean it. And then he was crawling, so he'd get in that and then break out in the hives. But my his grandparents came over and visited, and they went up there, and we had some friends that were Sicilian, and they kind of snuck them behind the border where you're not supposed to go, and it actually burned part of his grandpa's shoe. It was so hot underneath it.
And then I shit down his back.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I was reading that Mount Etna is the largest active volcano in all of Europe.
Yeah.
And yeah, there was, when I was in Taormina, I think, or maybe it was Catania, like one Mount Etna had erupted the previous night, where it's kind of always like constantly like erupting a little bit. And woke up in the morning and all the cars around me were just covered in ash.
Yeah,
Jeez.
it kind of falls through the air. But the thing that, one of the things that was different was the housing there. Like American houses are insulated and stuff. Italian, Sicilian houses are not. So you have to dress for the weather. They don't have heating in the house. They might have like a little bit that takes the chill off, but you have to layer your clothes, because where I lived, it was cold and sometimes it was wet. And that was a challenge at first when we got there, but you did get used to it. And but it was hard having a newborn baby to do that.
For sure.
Yeah.
Tell them about the story of the super perverts Italian men that tried to follow you.
Como.
Yeah, they would try to talk to the American women. They would like the army would come up there, and they would have different groups come to town and stuff, and they would follow you. And then this one was trying to follow behind me and talk to me, and I didn't know what he was saying. But one of our friends, he was a service member, and he spoke Italian, and he said, "Tell me what he said to you." And then I repeated it, and he said, "You make sure you stay away from him, because he is after you." So his dad and the other guy went looking for him. So
What was my dad gonna do? He's 5'7".
I wouldn't guess that. You're fairly tall.
Yeah, I'm the tallest person in my family by a long shot.
Okay.
Like my mom's 5'2", my dad's 5'7", my tallest grandpa was like 5'5".
Maybe it was that volcanic ash that
Or
helped you
maybe it
sprout.
was that guy in Italy.
Yeah. I think so. So did you went to Taormina?
Yeah, I was there for a few days.
Yes, that's really the vacation spot there. I stayed at I think it was the Holiday Inn or something there on the beach, and it was so pretty just looking at. I mean, it looked like something that you would see like in
In the White Lotus.
all that. Yeah, I mean, it was just gorgeous. But topless bathing was a little bit to get used to, and saw all that, because America, we don't have that.
Yeah, it's definitely not common.
I don't know if they still do that there or not, but they did when I was there.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I lived at the beach for about 6 months down. It's in Sarkusa Bay, and it was along the southern part of it. And they would the Italians would stop working in August, and then they would be off the whole summer. And this really was a big thing with military people. We made fun of them almost, because the men would all wear black Speedos and white clogs.
Okay.
I swear, you could hear them coming like a herd of ponies. And then it was rumored that they would roll up socks in their bathing suit to make them look more manly.
Oh my God. I got to try that.
It wasn't impressive when they all look the same. Okay. So,
I disagree.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'd be impressed.
I feel like that's huge all throughout Europe. All the men wear really skimpy bathing suits.
Yeah.
yeah, it was. And our little community was a military community that the Navy had built. So that was Navy housing, and that was where we lived at. But I would take the kids and go down, and the water was really cold still, even in the summer. But it was absolutely beautiful. I mean, and the crime rate was, people would steal. I mean, they would literally steal anything that wasn't tied down. But crime, like bodily crime, was almost nothing. I mean, and children, they're so good to children. I mean, that was one of the things I liked best. They would always give my kids free ice cream, and in the little shops, and they
Pinch
closed
on my cheeks, ciao bella.
Yeah, and they would everybody closed down in the afternoon for a siesta, and then the kids went back to school at 5 o'clock at night, and then you ate at 7 o'clock. So it was such a different culture. It was a very good experience.
I'm happy you got to experience that. I mean, it sounds fun, obviously a little scary at first and took a while to get used to, but I'm sure overall, did you see it as a positive experience in your life?
Yes, I think that, after I got over the shock and realized, because see, we didn't have cell phones, and it was very expensive to call home. And, you could write a letter, but it would take weeks to get it. I mean, I didn't bring my kids home for the first, I think, 15 months that I was there. So it was an adjustment, but I met a lot of really nice people. And, I will tell you this much. The real wine from over there, one glass of that is like drinking probably 4 glasses.
A lot of people claim, though, that Italian wine won't give you that bad of a hangover because there's no nitrates or something. Did you ever experience that?
I'm not much of a drinker, so I wouldn't really know. But I drank maybe 1 glass, and but it's delicious. Like the blood orange, they make from home, and they take their wine, and you could actually bring a jug up to a gas pump type thing and fill up your wine there.
Oh yeah, I used to do that in Venice. It was
It's
great.
super cheap too, $2.
Even if you just had an empty plastic water bottle, you just show up and fill it up with wine, walk around drinking that.
But you know what? The majority of people don't get drunk there.
Except for my dad.
Well, him, yeah. True. So
The one thing that will get you really drunk in Italy, it's if you keep on fermenting wine until it becomes a clear liquor. It's called, what's the Italian hard liquor? Grappa.
I've never even heard of that.
Did you ever try that when you were out there?
I don't think so. I don't think I've heard of that. But like I said, I'm not a big drinker. I was more into the coffee and the pastry.
Yeah.
Bread. The bread is amazing. All the sweets and everything.
Yeah,
So,
and the food won't really make you fat. You can eat as much as you want in Italy, and I feel like a lot of people end up losing weight.
well, it might be more the culture than it is, because you walk everywhere. It's not like it is here. It's just very different. Like my building did not have an elevator or anything. I had to go up 4 flights of steps that were 12-foot ceilings. So by the time you get to the top, you've gotten your workout.
And you're doing that with 2 babies on the hip.
Well, what I would do is I would put you in a carrier, and then I had your sister in the stroller so that I could get it up there. That was the only way I could get around. So, and then walking to town was probably a mile downhill, and then pushing that buggy back upstairs with the baby on my back.
Yeah, that's tough. The last question I have for you is, how did Chaps do on those long flights from Sicily to Florida?
I probably cried like a little bitch.
Well, one time our plane broke in Spain, and he was 2, and we had been 24 hours at the airport, and he just decided to lay down and pitch a holy tantrum.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I almost did that in Portland this week. I almost threw a big tantrum.
Yeah, to be fair, I've seen a lot of grown adults throw tantrums at the airport if they've been stuck in it for 24 hours.
We had to come back in a C-141 and with slingshot chairs, and so it was a long ride home. So,
I mean, this was fascinating.
Yeah.
This was great.
Great job, Mom. I'm proud of you. You did an awesome job.
well, thank you. I appreciate it. It was a good experience, and I'm glad to be able to share it. And if anybody can ever go over there, including you guys, it is well worth going over there for.
Also, I think it's brave, like to go over there as a dependent, like being from where my mom's from and knowing that, like, my dad's job, he was a flight engineer, so he was gone consistently throughout, like, their marriage. And so basically she was a 22-year-old with 2 young kids moving to a foreign country without a support system at all.
Yeah.
Like that's tough.
Since I've had a baby, I've had to leave my wife with the kid alone for maybe like the most has been 5 or 6 days. But if I have a second kid in the future, I'm going to feel really bad about traveling.
Yeah. And he would go for like weeks at a time.
Yeah.
Like away.
Like if it's one-on-one, like a mom and a baby, a little more doable. Once it's one mom dealing with 2 kids,
you're 2 under
you're
2.
outnumbered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 under 2. Don't they have like a term for that? Or it might just be 2 under 2.
I think it's 2 under 2. Yeah, I think
2 under 2, a tut. I don't know if they call it that.
They should.
Yeah.
We're going to start calling it that for sure. All right, Mama. Well, thank you.
Okay. All right. Y'all be blessed.
It was great to meet you.
Shout out to my mom. Shout out to Dante for coming on the show. I think it was cool because it was very different for their experiences are so different. Like Dante goes over there as an adult without any kids, and my mom being there like as a military spouse and trying to navigate a foreign country for the first time.
Yeah, just as a lady who had probably, like hadn't done a lot of traveling prior to that.
No, I know she had gone to like Rochester, New York.
Rochester, New York. Okay.
Because my grandfather. All right, I want to talk about my papa for a second because that dude's an absolute fucking legend. Okay. So my grandfather had polio as a kid, and they developed the vaccine while he was a kid. Otherwise, he probably would have been in an iron lung. Like it made his legs bad. Like he had paralysis in his legs his whole life, and he still signed up to be like a propane salesman, propane servicer. Like, so he would move from Florida to Rochester in the height of the cold as a guy who lived in Florida his whole life too, and was walking around through neighborhoods in the freezing cold in Rochester, servicing all of these propane tanks while he was struggling to walk essentially, but he nutted up his whole life and got stuff done. Like all I remember of him being young is working hard, being a propane guy still into like his late 60s. And then he also was like the best gardener anywhere around like his area. Like he would grow these different trees and he would grow bushes, and he had like crepe myrtles and tomatoes and satsumas that he would sell. He even did radio spots like about gardening, like in the local area.
Nice.
He would put his plants out in his front yard on like a Saturday, and people would come by and buy them, like the different saplings that he would make, that he would get cultures from different types of plants. He would like
he had a green thumb.
Yeah, and he would make hybrids of the different types of like crepe myrtles. He was a very impressive man. And not just that, but his name, I think he has the single greatest name. So my dad, who you probably figured it out from that interview, I fucking hate.
Yep.
He was the worst.
That came across loud and clear.
So his name was Loris Mitchell Cothran. Loris, like Horace with an L. Which,
yeah, not Lawrence.
Loris. And he wanted to name me Loris Mitchell Cothran III. I feel like one, we didn't have nearly enough money for me to be the third anything. And second, I think my entire life would be totally different if I was Loris Mitchell Cothran instead of Matthew Mitchell Cothran. I feel like that's so much better. But my grandfather's name, my papa's name, was Sanford Roscoe Lloyd.
Sanford
Roscoe.
I like it.
Roscoe is what he went by. I wish that my name was Matthew Roscoe Cothran so bad, because I would go by Roscoe, which is, I mean, you throw like a workman shirt on, like you're working at a Jiffy Lube, and you throw Roscoe, everybody instantly thinks you know everything about cars.
I'm going to start calling Rico Bosco just Roscoe.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. No, Roscoe's sick. That's one of the coolest middle names I've heard.
Yeah, it's great. But yeah, I'm proud of my mom for coming on. I think somebody that doesn't work in media and doesn't do a lot of media, it's intimidating to come on a podcast, and she rolled with it.
And I think now my mom's going to see this, and she's going to be like, okay, now you need to bring me on.
Yeah, because I met your mom and dad in person at the rugby match that we went to. Lovely people.
I know my mom used to hitchhike, so she could come on and talk about that. And
I love it.
Yeah, she hitchhiked like around the U.S., and she's also been to Machu Picchu, so she could talk about that.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
But no, your mom did a great job, and yeah, I mean, it makes me want to go back to Sicily.
Yeah, this was a fun episode. Thanks for everybody for sticking through it. We'll see you next time on the Drop a Pin Show.
Peace.